that you enjoyed the dinner yesterday. I think it was very nice. It's lively, and it's good to have heard from some of you. So what I'm going to present today is a little bit who IDF is, who do we represent, what is your role, you as young leaders, what is your role with IDF, and how we would like you to work with your member associations when you're back in your country. So it's interactive, so please do not hesitate to stop me if you have a question, so it should be informal. Alright, so here is the structure of IDF. IDF, as you know, because you represent the member associations, IDF is a federation of all the associations dedicated to diabetes in the world. Until the 4th of December, we had 231 full members. Now at the General Assembly, which is a meeting that convenes representatives of all the IDF members, a number of items on the agenda are, for instance, an approval of the budget, an approval of the activities that we're going to do over the next biennium, as well the approval of new associations who would like to become a member of IDF. There's a very, very formal procedure for that, and it's at the General Assembly that we formally recognize new members. We've had a lot of applications over the last 2 years, and about, if I'm not mistaken, something like 12 or 14 new members have been adopted. So the figures you will see soon are a bit wrong, in fact, as of Monday. In IDF, we have an executive office. You already know some of us. We are currently 17 people, so sometimes people think that we are a huge organization, but in fact we're 17 people really working every day just to make sure that all the members have the necessary tools to do as well their work in their country. We work in departments. Of course, when you think of 17 persons, it's a bit strange to think of that. But in fact, yes, we have our own responsibilities, and of course, we work together. So we have communications and advocacy. We have the people looking for partners. We have, of course, the finance and administration. We have a Congress team. So 3 people in IDF, and here is the result. This is this Congress. And then we have the people in the program and policy departments. So we all work together with the board of directors. The board of directors as well is an elected body, again, that took place at the General Assembly. There are 17 board members made of a president-elect, and then vice presidents, and the chairs of each region. The regions, IDF is divided into 7 regions. And we assign, when a new member is coming in, we assign a member to a region. So the idea as well is for the region to organize activities specific for the region. But of course, what we have to do at the IDF Executive Office is to prepare tools or material, documents, programs that are made for all the IDF members. So then it's up to each member and each region to tailor that material to the needs of the country or of the region. Because what is right for Africa may not be right for Europe and vice versa. So it's very important. So that's a little bit how we work. As I say, this should not be really flat or vertical or horizontal. It's really a teamwork. That's how we work in the IDF office. That's what we try to work with with our board. Of course, now we have a brand new board. You met Professor Nam Cho, our new president. So we will see how it works. The future president, so who will become the president in 2 years, is Professor Andrew Bolton, and he comes from the United Kingdom. Membership. So as I said, there were 231 full members. We have as well transnational members. What is transnational member is an organization who, for instance, is not only working in Ecuador, but in fact is working in all Latin America, for instance. So we have a couple of them. That's what we call a transnational members. You see more or less how they are spread. The smallest region, I mean, in terms of membership, I don't know if there is a pointer here. Okay, is Southeast Asia with 9 members. They just accepted 2 new members, so at least the region will grow up as well. The largest region in terms of membership is Europe, 70 members, and if my memory is correct, they accepted 2 new members as well. Do you have any questions so far? No? Very good. Okay. You have been nominated and recommended by a member association. So we really expect you to work closely with them, because we believe that with the training and with the experience that you are getting here, I mean, you are really a great asset for that member. We would really like you to continue to be to work in close collaboration with them. I know that sometimes you will have ideas and they don't think that your idea would be accepted. Please continue, because you have fresh ideas, and sometimes, you know, all the members, there's a lot of goodwill in each member, but they need as well to hear and to have some fresh blood, as we say. So continue to work with them. I think it's very important. You have a lot to bring to everybody. You will be requested to develop a project, so make sure, of course, that it meets the criteria. I suppose that you have already talked about that, or maybe you will talk about it later. You have to, as I say here, you must keep it informed at all times. We have to know where we are in your project. We don't want to wait until the very end to hear about it. So let us know where you stand, what you have done so far. If you have questions, if you have problems, please do not hesitate. I'm sure that Beatriz will be very helpful in that matter. We try as well, so as you say, we try to provide the members as much information as we can on what we are doing in the Executive Office. But as well, this material can be used as well for you as young leaders. So please make sure that you follow up what we do. You certainly find a lot of information on our website. I'm sure that Beatriz and Sabine and Sandrine, they will continue providing a lot of information to you. So please continue to be updated on what IDF is doing. Now, if you really have a problem, as I say, with your association, don't wait. Speak to us, because we are in contact with them. We know them quite well, and we can see how we can solve a potential issue. I hope that there really won't be any issue, but please do not hesitate. It's not that we are there to say you are right, you are wrong, but we are there just to help, because we want this program to be very successful. So, of course, the mediator role is there, but again, it's just to make sure that you are heard, and that on the other hand, you work as well as your association would like you to work. So, you have a whole program, and I don't know what was told yesterday. So you have a whole program now for the coming 2 years. So again, please make sure you follow what is requested, because in 2 years' time you will be now YLD graduated, and we really want you to take the best of this program. If I'm not mistaken, no, so I'm already. Okay, so is there any question of how you would like to work with us? Do you have any suggestions? Because I'm not sure that if you were really informed of who IDF was or what we were doing. So, do you have a little bit of, do you have any questions? Do you have, yes?
I have one. What characteristics does a country should accomplish to be part of the IDF?
So the criteria of membership. Okay. Well, obviously the first criteria is that association needs to be dedicated to IDF. It has to have a certain, it has to have a minimum of 5 years of existence. It has to prove that it has done activities. It has to prove that it is working on a national basis, not working in the city of. It has to be national. What else? It has to be democratic. There should be a board, an elected board, preferably not somebody who stays there for 30 years. So that's really what we want. They need to have a certain number of members. So like us, we have members, the member association. Your association that you represent here as well have members. So we do not want to co-opt an organization with 20 members. We want really something who has a say at the level of the country. So how is this happening? We send them a file, they have all kinds of questions to fill in, then it goes to the region. So for instance, the Sahel region or the Africa region, they review the application, they check what they're doing, so they ask questions, then they do a recommendation. And once per year, we review all the applications that we have been receiving. The governance committee of IDF is reviewing that and makes a recommendation to the board of directors of IDF. And if the board thinks that indeed this association is really matching the criteria, would be a great asset for representing the people with diabetes, then the board accepts that organization as a provisional member. And that organization has that provisional member status until the General Assembly, like we had on Monday. At the General Assembly, we have a vote, a formal vote for each application, members vote, and then they become full members and then have access to all the information that we provide to them. That's how it works.
Your recommendation in terms of mobilizing youth in the IDF member country, should the youth be, well, obviously they have to be a part of the member association, but can they have their own autonomy in terms of we work and report to the IDF member instead of working along with on everything? In terms of have your own youth executive and that sort of thing that reports to, or should we work just within the IDF member executive itself?
So the reason why you are here is because you have been selected by the member association. So we really recommend that you work with them. It does not prevent you to work on your own, but really when you speak of IDF, you are there with your member association. So we really insist for the continuity of the program as well. We insist that you remain in contact with your member association. Because if at the end of the 2 years, in fact, you do not work with them, I mean, this will not work for us either. So we really recommend you work in close collaboration.
We won't not collaborate with them. I mean, in terms of running a separate, like, you see how you have young YLD and you have a separate to be doing market right out. understand what I mean? So like run a association and that. It's not run separate, but we have our own meetings and our own planning, and everything is still reported to the member. But we're not necessarily in all of the members' executive meetings and that sort of thing.
Oh, so that's not required that you're part of the executive, etc.
Yeah.
What is required is that you are part of the association and you work closely with them. If they are structured,
You asked what about your members? They accept you as a member of the committee. No, they don't have to be a member of the committee. You have to stay there because otherwise it doesn't make sense. This program is not just a focus. It's a program where you after these 2 years term, you have to share your knowledge with somebody else. You have to share your knowledge with something else, and also to help your own community, where to provide the members of their needs, to help people, other people with their needs. That's one of the objectives.
is there any other question?
I have a question. Let's say after we collaborate with our member association, but they are not supportive or doesn't agree with our proposal, if we inform IDF, wouldn't that put us in disadvantaged position because we inform? And the second thing is, I wonder, because this is my first IDF, so I wonder what is the extent of support that the member association provides? Does it? I'm not sure if they provide the minimal funds or what is the support they are obliged to provide for the young leaders?
Okay, so in terms of funding, etc., that I cannot respond. They are not obliged to provide a certain amount of money for the project. And you ask, what about if my project is not accepted? So the idea is really that you work with them. And of course, as I said earlier, we're ready to help and be a kind of mediator. However, the aim is really that you find a way to work with them, because if at the very beginning they do not accept your project, you have to ask, of course, why, and just see, because maybe it's out of scope for them. The idea is really that you find something that works for both ways. We would absolutely be there to help you, and this is no advantage. No, we're there to help you, and we do not record, oh, this person asked a question, bad point. No, absolutely not. That's not the case. We're there to help you. But in terms of funding, so there is no obligation. Maybe the activity that you would like to organize maybe does not require a large amount of funding. This is as well how you do. Maybe they will ask to raise funds, or you would work together to raise funds. The idea is not that you work on your own. The idea is that you are part of a team or part of a good association, and that you do that together. You have the idea, you try to put that into action, and so you should not really be on your own. Does that reply to your question, Daniel?
Actually, I wanted to ask, after this question, I think it was a valuable question anyway, and I was just thinking, if we have a recommendation or a requirement to work with the member association in the next 2 years, is there any plan to give some description for the member association as well, to have us in the loop, or maybe that they have to work together with the young leader in the next 2 years, because maybe it's worth thinking about this kind of vice versa thing, so to help the young leaders as well to keep in the loop get some funding or support, not financial, but support, any kind of support from the member association, because sometimes it's really hard to create projects for young people, and of course we want to work with the member associations, but sometimes it's complicated. Sometimes there are good times and bad times, and if there is a recommendation from IDF to the members association as well to have a youth faculty or youth program, which is a requirement from IDF to support the local projects, I think it would help us a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominique. We already spoke during our inter-committee meetings, and also Danielle promised that she will try to put on the paper just recommendation. What would be recommendation? It cannot be required, because we cannot require anybody to do anything, especially because only few young leaders are in any single country or any single association. So the member association should promote and include young people, but it's not just a problem of young leaders, because in your country maybe we have 2 young leaders, in my country we have 3, now we have 2, now we will have 1 more, this year we have. So from that perspective, just the program, young leaders programs cannot require, but also the IDF office, please send member association some document which will say, please include young people, because young people are future of IDF and their community.
So actually, yeah, so you remember that yesterday you had on the table the framework document that we had a conversation with that. So actually this document has already been sent to all the member associations. But it's true that they receive a lot of information from IDF, so they may have skipped that email, and it's true that when we have checked with some of them, they hadn't read it. So it's also your task to make sure that, I mean, every time that we inform you of something, we also keep the associations informed. So if you receive some information from us, please keep them in the loop and say, we have received this from IDF, please take a look. It's the only way that we can make this happen. So just tell them when you are back to your countries that there is a framework document and that they need to take a look at that, because there are also some kind of responsibilities for the members.
Actually, I want to ask, we have like a compromise with our association. If in these 2 years, probably not, but my association disappears for any reason.
Where are you from?
But actually, maybe politics, problems, things like that. Maybe can I like still present my project by my own to IDF? Like I start with a member of the IDF, but if that member has problems, can I still finish my
Of
career?
course, of course.
Yeah.
It's a framework document.
Yeah.
You can establish a new society.
Yes. No, but that's a correct question, for sure. But we really try that this does not happen. I mean, I don't even recall that you have lost members in the middle of well, maybe at the end of the year, suddenly that association decides to quit. But of course, this would not have any impact on you. No, so for sure we would not let you go.
Just like to ask about
So go ahead, and that will be the last question because I'm told that we need to move. So.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask about the whole graduation process. I know from speaking to other people that Legal's projects are very different, and some are ongoing and will continue past 2 years. So what actually determines graduation? Like, do you have to pass certain criteria?
So again, I see that not many people have read the framework document. So it's there actually. So there are a series of things that you need to fulfill. So you need to have finished your project, and the member association needs to be okay with that. So at the end of the 2 years process, you will receive a recommendation letter from them. And actually, it's the case of some people in the room that will be graduating this December because they have been working with IDF for the last 2 years. We have also a few YLD mentors that have been working with YLD from before. So, for example, Franco since 2013. So he will be graduating as a mentor. So, basically, it's what we were explaining yesterday. You just need to carry on with your project, be always in good terms with your association, and receive a recommendation letter. And also keep in touch with that, so that many people after this training, not many people, but some disappear. So we want to hear from you. We want to continue receiving news and questions, and we will always be there to reply to any questions you may have. So please take a look at the. Okay, so the recommendation will only come, of course, if the association is okay with the project and if you have been in contact with them during the 2 years. Of course, if you come back to your association in 2 years saying, I have been doing this and I haven't been informed, or this is not the project that you agreed that I will be developing, you may not receive the recommendation form, and we have a few cases from 2 years ago of people that will not receive the evaluation because of this.
So I'm going to talk to you very rapidly about the Group of Voices, which is another network. So the Group of Voices was launched by IDF in 2016, and obviously IDF is the global voice of people with disabilities. So we want to make sure that we actually know what people with disabilities feel and what their key concerns are, their challenges, etc. So that everybody, so their voices can actually inform the IDF work. So the network includes people with all types of diabetes as well as the carers and relatives, because we found that this was a big gap in many initiatives. A lot of people, particularly obviously children, it's their mothers or fathers that look after them, and very often their voices are not heard. So the network also includes those people. So as I said, the idea is to make sure that the voices of people with diabetes are represented. It also gives them a voice in the global body. Obviously, IDF is a global body, so we gather everybody's opinion and then we inform global policy making. There is a forum, it's a forum for expression. We actually have a platform where people can provide testimonies and can express views. And as I said, we want to make sure that people's priorities are reflected in this work. So we currently have 130 members in 58 countries. As you can see, 80 of these people are women. And we've got a good spread across the world with perhaps little gap in Southeast Asia, and we're working on that. There is still a bias towards the bankrupt community, so we're now trying to recruit specifically people with type 2 diabetes. So there are a number of activities. So we've done 3 online consultations so far. The first one was designed to really understand the priorities and concerns of people with diabetes, and we followed that up with the second consultation on access and affordability of care and medicines, because that came up as being the prime concern of the WISP members. We had a number of advocacy events, so we invited people to some panels. We had a big event at the World Health Assembly last May, and we had a panel of WISP members that talked about generally access to medicine. During World Diabetes Day, we had Alexandra Kota, who used to be a leader, is a WISP member as well, and she talked about her experience as a diabetes leader. There is a forum, which is a closed forum where people can pose questions, start discussion, share experiences, and in order to raise awareness of general issues to do with diabetes, we have a newsletter, a bit similar to the Young Leaders newsletter, so that gets published every quarter. I don't know if you've seen it, but everything is on the IDF website. So just very briefly, that's these are the results from the first consultation. So the consultation took place in December. 82 people responded. At the time, we had 95 members of the network, so it was a good representation. To put the results in context, 60% of the respondents had type 1 diabetes, which means that the concerns may be slightly different to the rest. But anyway, so as I said, we asked people what the global challenges were in their views, and close to half of them said that access and availability of essential medicines was what kept them up at night. Education, prevention, and discrimination were the next things. So what we did is, and you can perhaps, I don't know if you've seen this, so you can also find it on the website. We used the results of the first consultation to publish this document so that we can advocate about the needs and priorities of people living with diabetes. So I'm not going to go through all of that in more short of time, but essentially what we've done is, for each one of the priorities, we've developed recommendations for governments and for the health systems of the country. As IDF, we also work ourselves to meet those priorities. So I don't know if you've seen that we've launched the IDF School of Diabetes, and the idea is to ensure that healthcare professionals are fully educated, equipped, particularly when it comes to newer treatment options. Because what we know is that in many parts of the world, people only see their primary care physicians, and some of the primary care physicians don't know very much about diabetes. So if we want to make a difference and make sure that we prevent complications, etc., we need to ensure that those guys are properly trained. And the idea is that not only will we address the HCP population, but we will also develop more tools in the second phase for people living with diabetes to self-manage themselves better. So that's going to be the second phase of the IDF school. So please go and look at it. You should have taken already 2 of the modules that were on the school for free, or that is the first module. There will be more modules. So keep going back there because there will be a huge source of information. We're putting all of the education resources on that IDF platform. There's a huge body of knowledge there, the videos, the articles, the resources. It's a really good school. So prevention efforts, and one of the things that we're looking at, and it's going to be probably our next consultation, is about stigma and discrimination. Because one of the things that came through was that through lack of knowledge, for a number of reasons, people often are discriminated against in terms of, for example, access to health insurance, or people who don't know how to deal with diabetes may take their children away from school, so the school may just not accept the children. So we've also developed a number of tools. I don't know if you are aware of the KIDS program, for example, but it's a pack that is used by teachers, by parents, etc., to try and explain the fact that it's not because your child is like 1 diabetes that you cannot do your work, that you cannot do everything that everybody else does. So we do a lot of education like that as well. So where we want to take the network in 2018, we want to increase the number of people in the network. We want to be fully representative of the diabetes community at large, so we will recruit more people like diabetes. We're going to continue with consultations. We hope to engage the network in support of the UN call to action that I have launched, which Beatriz will explain now. And we're just going to strengthen the network. So the reason we're talking about the Circle Voices is because obviously this is a network which, when you graduate as a young leader or as a mentor, this is something that you may want to consider and engage with. It's not because you've been a young leader that they were thought. We've got a couple of young leaders that are also part of the Circle Voices network now, but it's still going to carry on being engaged with IDF after their projects. So, any questions? So, there is go.
Okay, so as Sabine was saying, so, as we were saying, one of the roles for you as young leaders is not only to develop your national projects, but also to support IDF with the national campaigns that we develop. So, just for your opinion. 2013, WHO adopted some commitments that the governments were supposed to meet by 2025. Two of them are very important for diabetes. So one of them is 0% increase in diabetes. It's mostly related to type 2 diabetes, but still is relevant for us. And the other one is 25% access to essential medicines. In 2015, IDF was also involved in the development of the Sustainable Development Goals. So you know that there was a development framework from the year 2000 to the year 2015 that was called the Millennium Development Goals. So this has been replaced now by the Sustainable Development Goals. This is something that does not only apply to countries in development, but also to countries that are more developed. And for the first time, NCDs are included in the development framework. So there is nothing super specific on diabetes. We could have liked that it was the case, but still NCDs are mentioned, and there is a goal of reducing by 30% premature mortality from NCDs by 2030. This year, there has been a very important conference in Uruguay, in Montevideo, that is leading to the third high-level meeting of the UN that is happening next year. So this is a very important day for us because, as I told you 3 years ago, in 2014, the governments made a review of the progress that have been done in NCDs. The results were quite negative. So next year there will be another review. Countries are going to see again if there has been any development. So this is a crucial meeting for us. And IDF wants to really mobilize the diabetes community for us to make an impact. So we have prepared these toolkits. I recommend you to go because we have copies of this in the IDF booth. So if you have been walking around, you may have seen that. It's downstairs, and you go in that direction, and you will see the IDF booth. So we have copies of this in English, in French, and in Spanish. So this document is focused on the 4 priorities that Sabine was explaining before, that the Brussels Goal is agreed. So the first one is increase efforts to achieve a 0% increase in diabetes prevalence, and IDF is proposing this. So of course education, you were saying yesterday that is key, so we are focusing a lot on education. Also, for example, we want governments to encourage fiscal policies. This is related to the possibility that people have access to fertility. The second priority will be working towards this target of 80% access to essential medicines that we are supposed to achieve by 2025. So this also is far from being achieved. So of course this passes by having established budget from the governments to be dedicated to these medicines. The third priority, as I mentioned before, the commitment is to achieve a 30% reduction in premature mortality by NCDs by 2030. So again, education, we need a better health force also, so this passes by the educational plan. And the fourth priority would be precisely to listen to the priorities of people with diabetes. So in 2014, we had this first review, and the priorities, civil society was not heard really, and not a lot of governments attended these meetings. So normally these high-level meetings are attended by prime ministers and presidents. Not that many were there, so we really want that next year is important, that a lot of governments are present there, and that the first figure of this country is present, because otherwise, I mean, we won't have an impact. If it's just the Minister of Health that goes there, I mean, we need really to work throughout all the departments of the government. So how can you support the call? As I told you, it's very important that all of you, the member associations, and anyone else that is involved in diabetes advocacy at the country level collaborates. So you will see in the toolkit that we are requesting people to ask the support of national policymakers. So I'm sure that all of you know more or less who you could reach out. Someone important to your country can be the Minister of Health. It can be a policymaker that maybe has diabetes. So we are asking people to reach out to them, to ask them, look, the country made this commitment, so please honor them. Also, we are asking the English community to get engaged with the press, so this call to action and also the meeting is known. And finally, social media. So as we were saying before, this is very important. I'm sure that all or most of you have several social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So you see, we will be posting throughout the next 12 months about this. So please engage with our messages. And yes, just keep us informed about your developments. So if you contact a politician and this person replies to you, just let us know, because that will be good for us also to follow up. And these are some of the tools available in the toolkit. So as I told you, if you go at lunchtime to the IDF booth, you can make a copy. You will find a letter that you can tailor for the situation in your country. You can find the call to action, a couple of maps that you can also tailor for your country. And also you will find some other resources. So an article that the Lancet published about how well the countries are doing in achieving the indicators, and a report from WHO on the progress towards achieving the SDGs. And this is the calendar for the next year, but as we said before, we will keep you informed of all of this, so you will be receiving a lot of information about the high-level meeting in the next year. And you can start tweeting already. So this is a QR code. If you scan that, it's in the IDF book, also very big. You scan that, and you will have a tweet already prepared, and you just have to do it from your account. It's very easy, it's just one step. And that was all. So if you have questions, okay. So we move to the next